All right, so this is the actual scheduled stream. It has some technical difficulties. We'll give this a few minutes to see if anybody pops in. If not, we'll just delete this one. Two people here. Who we got here? Pop it in the chat. There's somebody. This was my actual scheduled stream. I think I had some technical difficulties. I ended up putting out another one. I don't know if you've seen that one. Show or explain how to use multiplex or how to hook it up to the machine. Well, showing is a little difficult since I'm not near a machine right now. But basically, you just plug the two sensors in and be a sonic sensor on the front of the machine and the back of the machine. And you plug those in, and then you go to your Level Pro. You hit the level, I think, 3 times, and it'll show all the sensors. And you just turn those sensors on, if I remember right, and that'll bring you to the multiplex. It's really hard to explain if I'm not going through the process because I hardly ever use multiplex. I don't know if that helps you. Do you got any specific questions about it? I might be able to help with those. We got more people popping in here, so this must have been the one that YouTube was waiting on. Last one we talked about groundmen a little bit. I can go through that again if people missed that one. OBS software wasn't wanting to work and stream it to the right spot. Did that help any there, Alicio, or? As far as the hookup goes, there'll be a plug on the back of the machine. I believe it's the one right next to where you plug the gray control box in. That should be for the back sensor. And for the front sensor, they tuck it in behind the front leg, kind of in there. And multiplex has always been a pain in the ass for me. Love the videos. Thank you. Glad you like the videos. Haven't been able to post lately too much. Believe it or not, I had a complaint from a contractor that made me take one of my best videos down. I don't know why they had a problem with it, but that's kind of stopped me from recording lately, trying to figure out how to blur people out because not everybody wants to be on YouTube apparently. So Brandon, since you've used multiplex, how do you hook it up and set up? You got any tips for us? Maybe explain it a little better than I did. Six people, now we're getting there. Boss man is looking for a new mill, probably an FI. Well, that would be nice. You'll love it. Currently have the I model. I remember that. Trying to be prepared and learn as much as you can about the FIs. Oh, what do you want to know about the FIs? I run one of those pretty much every day, so I might have something to help you out with. The grade control is completely different, but not different so much that you won't be able to jump right in and learn how to use it, but it's definitely different, much better. One thing different about the FI models is that grade control box you use, you can control pretty much everything on the machine. Your water, um, conveyor speed, all that is on that one machine, or one display box, I should say. So your grade control box kind of doubles as all of your other settings, gauges, things like that. How many feet per minute you usually go? Well, it all depends on material, obviously. But in, say, like a 2-inch cut, usually, I don't know, 80, 90 foot a minute, something like that, maybe. Especially if you can get the machine to kick into second gear. If you have a 210, exactly. Quantity before quality, exactly. It's, what was I going to say? So the FI models, the 210s anyway, the 200s don't, or the 207s don't have it. But the drum actually has a 2-speed gearbox on it, and the machine will kick into second gear every once in a while. If you kind of fiddle with it right, you can kind of convince it to go into second gear. And that's nice because it makes your pattern a lot nicer and enables you to go a lot faster without running your pattern out. Like with the I models, once you get up around 80, 90 foot a minute, it's cutting pretty coarse. As where the 210 FI will kick into second gear and spin the drum a whole lot faster. So you still keep a decent pattern at that speed. Why don't you use rear loaders in the States? One, because I basically consider them a pain in the ass. The truck has to back up with you. And if you don't have a good driver that can back up at a certain speed and see it, then it's really hard to load them. I didn't think anybody used a rear load machine anymore. Are they still making rear load machines besides the little tiny guys? You said a 110 RI. I don't think I've ever seen that. Might be a European option. Does that sound pretty good? 80, 90 foot a minute is that about how fast you run with the I model? Assuming with, I think you were the one who said you were with Bostic, right? So they probably do a lot of parking lots, trailer parks, things like that, if I remember right. Yep. You'll find Eco is a whole lot smarter on the FIs, and you get really good tooth life out of running. It doesn't necessarily have, it has Eco and it has power. It's two different modes, or you can run full manual. And the biggest difference with the FI is the engine RPM goes up and down with how fast you go. If I remember right, I believe the I model does that when you're running around out of the cut. It won't run full throttle. But your Eco and your number 2 and number 3 setting, it just controls the RPM of the machine and it stays constant. As where with the FI, as you creep forward in your grinding, if you're going really slow, then RPM is really low. And as you speed up, it speeds the drum up with you. So it keeps your pattern a lot more consistent. And it will intelligently know when it should kick into second gear or not if you have the 210 to help with that tooth wear. And it's pretty incredible the difference between eco and power on tooth wear and fuel and everything. I'll admit I run power most of the time and control the speed myself, and I get pretty decent tooth wear out of it that way. I find anything deeper than about a 6-inch cut in solid asphalt, I'll run power and it'll smooth the machine out a lot. On the I models, I always ran number 2. I would only run eco, the number 1 speed, when I was doing like key cuts, conform cuts, really light stuff like that. Eco was just, it just spun too slow for me, and it would chunk a lot. If you were doing dig outs or full removal, it wanted to chunk and slab a whole lot more because the drum RPM just wasn't there to help break it up. But if you have the FI, I would suggest running eco as much as possible, except for in the deep cuts. Sometimes in the really, really deep cuts, like if I'm digging dirt or something like that, I'll run full manual, get full RPM out of the machine because it doesn't seem to like to dig it unless you have that drum RPM cranked way up. It'll plug up and surge and do all that nasty stuff. Just want to mention, put out there too, I'm glad a lot of you are sticking with me after that little video about ice and all those things. I lost a few subscribers on that one, but kind of, my opinion, good riddance. Not too bad, but most of my following stuck around, so that made me happy. Thanks to everybody tuning in so far. It's a little better on this one now that I got the actual right stream going. Yeah, it sounds about right. 68 or 60 foot a minute on eco. On the I model, that's about as fast as you can go, or it's going to really fight you. It's just not enough drum speed there. You'll find with the FI, you can roll a lot faster than that. If at all possible, if your boss is considering buying an FI, there's so many reasons to get the 210. They're a little bit longer machine, so you can't back up to things quite as close, where the 207 is a little bit shorter. I can't convince this company to get rid of their last 207 because it they like it for the tight spaces, but I can't stand the Cummins motor. The Cummins engine to me is too problematic, and running def and all that stuff. The 210 has the cat motor. C18, it's a much better motor, much more power. And with the way the FI machines run, you don't have the fuel consumption that you normally had with like the bigger machines, like the 220s, the I model, the 220s, stuff like that had the same motor, had that C18 cat, but they just would mow right through the fuel. So the XF models, well, let me back up. On your way to mill at night right now, I'm going to run it on 2 all night. Just want to see the difference. Yeah, you know, your tooth wear and everything else is all dependent on how far you push the stick forward. So if you keep your speed down, I think you'll find that the tooth wear is pretty similar than running the Eco, and it'll run a lot smoother for you. Do you use working teeth or some aftermarket? So we run, what are they called? Honestly, can't remember anymore. You make me run it, go out and get a tooth box. But we don't run the working. We run basically similar to what used to be the Sandvik. Sandvik was bought out by another company. Can't remember the name right now. Working teeth aren't bad. They're just expensive. We run the tooth with a double carbide, so it has the tip plus a carbide ring around the body. And I don't think the rotation's quite as good on them that way, honestly. But with our situation where we run the teeth down, run the tip down short on the mills, and then they put them in the pulverizers and the mixers where that second ring really comes in handy. So you can stir dirt for a long time on that second ring before the tooth goes away. Let's see, let me see. Any thoughts on the XF models? So you're talking about the one with the John Deere motor on the big machines. I actually really, really like that John Deere motor. It's smoother, it's quieter. That's my second best other than the cat motors for sure. See you next time. All right, man. We'll talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in here. I know I started a little late with the technical difficulties, but glad you chimed in. So, Brandon, do you have the XF model or getting it, or you just seen them around and curious? We've got 3 of them now, I think, if I remember right. Other than that, the XF model is identical to the FI models, just the John Deere power plant, which again, I love that John Deere motor. It's so much quieter and smoother. Something about the torque rise on the motor, I think, is a lot nicer. Okay, so you have the 210 Fi, so and a 220i. The 220i is just a gigantic beast. We just got rid of our last one, and the only thing I really liked about it was the weight. It was a smooth grinding machine because it was just so dang heavy. But they put me in little parking lot jobs with the 220, and I'm just like, why? The machine's so friggin' huge. It's hard in a parking lot. What kind of work do you do, Brandon? You like highway grinding, parking lots, city streets? What kind of stuff do you do with that 220? Keep an eye on the chat here. Wait for you. I'm purely curious. I'm not missing anybody. So in the last stream, I was talking about groundman and how to be a good groundman. Anybody got any questions about that? If not, if you look at my channel, you'll see another live stream that happened today, and that was that whole one there. But I think it wasn't the one everybody was looking for because my streaming software didn't want to connect to this stream at first. Highways and interstates just finished a mill to base parking lot with the 220. Sassy, feel my pain. If it's a really big parking lot, it's not so bad, but it's just way overkill. It'll do it though. Surprisingly maneuverable for how big it is. How many mills do you guys got? Just those two? Do you have any small ones? Anybody still rocking the old machines, the old DCs and things like that? I know they're still around in other countries. You won't see them in the States so much. Maybe on the eastern side where the emissions aren't such a big deal. I know I've said it before, but the 2000 model was my favorite out of all of them. Even these FIs, everything else, they may be easier to run. They may have more features, but I'm partial to the old 2000s. Not the 1900s with the steering wheel. They were a pain in the butt. But the 2000 was a nice machine. I'd still run one today if they were around. Any other questions? 'Cause I'm going to have to cut out of here in a minute. Still got a few people here, and I watched the watch list. Pop in the chat and say hi. Let me know what you do, what kind of work. All right. Well, I think I'm going to cut out of here. Feel free to watch the other live stream that went today where we talked a lot about groundmen. We talked about MDI, some of the hazards to watch out for, milling by yourself, things like that. And that being said, I hope you guys all have a good day. Enjoy your weekend. If you're in California, enjoy your rain break. And we will catch you later. Thanks for your comments.